this is Mike Donnelly with North Valley Community Access Television Channel 11, and we continue our series interviewing interesting and innovative people, and we're lucky today to have Robert Strazzarino join us, or as some people call him, Straz.
Straz works.
Mr. Straz?
Just Straz. Straz
okay.
is good.
Straz, okay. Well, Straz, Robert, is the inventor, innovator, creator of College Scheduler, or we might as well get this out of the way. Is it College Scheduler or College Scheduler?
Yeah, College Scheduler, LLC. We founded it in 2005.
Well, if you ever move to Britain, I guess you can call it College Scheduler for now.
Yeah.
When you're still here in the United States.
We'll keep it in the U.S. for now.
So, first of all, what is College Scheduler? I want to talk about how you started it, what the brainchild is, where it came from, what got you started, but in a nutshell, what is College Scheduler?
So College Scheduler is basically a website that students can go to at universities all around the country. They put in what classes they want to take for an upcoming term at university. They put in times they don't want to take class, like if they have a job, or they want to sleep in the morning, which we see a lot, athletic practice, something like that. And when they click a button, we actually search all the different times all the classes are offered, and we mix and match every possible way of taking these classes and produce fully pre-made schedules that they can register for. So it takes the manual process of looking up each course one by one, scribbling it onto some sort of planning sheet. You know, they can get a few classes in, a class won't fit, they have to cross things out. It's this long, laborious process that every student goes through in the entire country, unless they're a client of ours. So we basically automate that process of generating schedules.
Okay, I'm going to ask you some technical questions about this, but part of this series is to really get behind the genius and the innovation of people. So I have to ask you how this all started. I mean, what was the seed, or what was the very moment you knew, or you decided to maybe embark on this?
It was my, let's see, it was my sophomore year of college, so it was 2003, and I was sitting in my, I was in a university village, which was kind of like a university-owned housing. I'm sitting in there and I'm trying to make my schedule for the next semester, and I put a class in. I have this. I got like Excel open. I have this spreadsheet. I'm trying to figure it all out. And I'm putting these things together, and I'm like, there's got to be a better way to do this. You know, this is awful. Because there's thousands of possible ways to put together your schedule. The example I always use is if you're looking for 5 different classes, and they're each offered 10 times throughout the day. So, you know, a U.S. history class, you could take it at 10 a.m., you could take it at night on Tuesdays. There's all these different options. That's 5 to the 10th permutations, which means there's 100,000 different ways of taking all those courses. There's no way with pen and paper and you sitting there you're ever going to evaluate 100,000 different ways of taking these classes. So immediately it's a programming problem. There's so many different possibilities. It's got to be solved by a computer. A human's just not going to be able to do it. So that was basically the moment where I said, you know, let me try to make a program that does this. I wasn't really thinking of a company at that point or anything like that. I just wanted to solve this problem for myself. And I started making this program on the computer that would do it. So basically, I would look on the website and say, okay, these are the 10 times U.S. history is offered, and I would copy and paste it into my program. And then I did that with a few other classes. And over the course of probably just a few weeks, probably actually more like a couple months, I was able to basically put data in there and actually get some schedules coming back that were possible that I could register for.
So this was fun for you, it sounds like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it was a cool project. You know, at the time I was like, oh, maybe I can use this as a senior project. That would be pretty cool. Or, you know, it wasn't a company at that point or anything like that. So while I was making this thing, I started discovering the technology I was using. It was Microsoft ASP.NET, and that's a pretty common programming platform today and back then. So what I did is I was messing around programming this thing, and I realized it had a really easy way to turn your software into a web page, so other people could use their software right through a web page instead of having to install a program on your computer. And as soon as I figured that out, I said, oh my gosh, I've got to make this thing so my friends can use it and so other people can use it. I think I can make this thing for everybody, basically. And that was when I really, you know, turned on the gas and started to make this thing.
That's when you knew. That's when you knew.
Yeah.
Now, how did that affect your school studies and all that? Did you
Actually,
go off on a tangent
see,
there?
I kind of am a schedule freak. I really like getting cool schedules. So that particular semester, I had all Tuesday, Thursday classes. So I got 4-day weekends every single week. It was sweet. And another thing is, one of my classes actually started at 6 a.m. that semester. It was a special class that actually Gary Sitton.
I was just going to say, was that Gary Sitton?
Yeah. So
I heard he wanted 5 a.m., but they wouldn't.
Yeah, it was awesome though. I mean, that was a great class. It was great meeting Gary, and it was definitely inspirational as far as, you know, hey, I can start a software company too. But I wasn't there yet. All I wanted to do was make this thing. I was just going to offer it for free. I hadn't thought about monetizing it just yet. But I monetize everything at some point. You know, everything I've always worked on, there's got to be a way to somehow make money eventually. But I wasn't thinking about money just yet. I wanted to make something that was cool that students would use.
What are all the things that happen behind the scenes that people don't see? I mean, we see the sexy college scheduler
Right.
out there. Now it's all finished. It's like a rock band. You go to a concert and it's a great show, but we don't see the thousands of hours
Right.
the band spent practicing and getting it just right.
Right.
What are the things that you did
Well,
that we didn't see?
When I built it, you know, like I said, I had the 4-day weekends, and I had that class at 6 a.m. And you know, when you're in college and you're young, you can just do crazy stuff. So Monday nights before all my Tuesday classes and Wednesday nights before all my Thursday classes, I stayed up all night. I wouldn't sleep all night, and I would go to class all through the next day, and I just drank coffee and ate cereal all night, and I programmed. I had 4-day weekends and all night on Mondays and Wednesdays to work on this thing. So I really hunkered in and did it, you know. And you see this, other people do this all the time too, is you just get kind of obsessed with this project, and it's awesome because, you know, you can really go for it. Someone in the real world, not in college, you can't spend, you know, 8 hours straight all these nights after you get home from
your investors at that point, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. You can't put the kind of time in that you would have as a college student with 4-day weekends and being able to stay up all night. So, you know, I use that time to address some challenges. One of my first challenges, getting the scheduling data from Chico State. So they had it listed on web pages, and I was kind of thinking, like, how am I going to get all this scheduling data? So the first thing I had to do was I had to write some software that would automatically download their pages every single night, and it would basically download the source code to all their pages, and then I wrote some software to pick out like accounting or the course number 301, the time 2 p.m., the teacher. So I wrote software to kind of pick all these different things off of the web page and store them in a database. That way I could produce schedules for all of the classes, not just, you know, before I was copying and pasting stuff. Now I wrote software to pull it all in automatically, so I didn't have to do any of that. So that was a challenge because, you know, nowadays with all of our clients, the universities provide us the scheduling data automatically. They basically send us an Excel file of all their class scheduling data. But back then, I didn't have Chico State's cooperation, so I had to write some extra software to get all their scheduling data. That was one of the major challenges.
Okay, so you're in college, you get out into the real world. Was it always that easy? Were there any other hurdles?
Oh, tons of hurdles. I mean, you know, Chico State was our first client. They came online in 2005, and that's when I filed the LLC. So I was in my, I graduated in 06, so I think I was in my last year, my senior year, when I approached Chico State. And at the time, we had over half of the students using the software, and I was hearing that administrators were using it and things like that, because I kept track of whoever used it, so I could keep statistics. So I approached the administration and said, hey, you know, I'm graduating soon. This software is heavily used. I want to start a company. I want you guys to be my first client.
And they were like, where do you sign?
They were very positive.
Really?
I had built up some allies in administration over the couple years, you know. This one guy, Jim, he was really helpful. When I found classes that were kind of weird, like labs and lectures and things not lining up right, I could go in there and he would answer my questions for me, just donate his time, because he thought this tool was really useful and it was free. And so he loved it. He loved that the students could use it for free, and he was like way behind me the whole time. So by the time I presented it to Chico State, I knew the director of academic advising, I knew someone in the registrar's office, I knew Jim, who was in, I believe, student records, and he had some bigger responsibilities too. But I had some allies before I went in. I just didn't go in cold and, you know, say, oh my gosh, I have this thing, I want you to sign here on the dotted line.
So how are you doing now?
Now is good.
Got a big contract coming up.
Got a big contract. We got Wisconsin-Madison coming online this summer.
That's great.
Basically, in 2009 to 2010, 2010 to 2011, we doubled in size. So we doubled the number of our clients, which was awesome. This year, we've added at least 25%. So we really expect to be doubling again this year. We're going to double. We're going to double in 2010 and double again in 2011. And from then on, I think the growth is going to get a little bit bigger than that. There's, what I like to tell people is there's 2,500 universities out there that have enough enrollment where our software would be useful.
That's just in this country.
That's just in the U.S. And we're talking to a few schools in Canada that we've met at conferences. I even did a demo for a school in Saudi Arabia once, which was.
Don't forget Great Britain. Either,
yeah,
right? Scheduler.
exactly. Yes.
Scheduler.
What is it?
Scheduler.
Scheduler. Yeah, I'm gonna have to practice that one. But yeah, there's 2,500 potential clients out there, and no one else is doing this right now. There's no other commercial product on the market that's handling this. So,
Sounds like you still have the fire too, Robert.
Definitely. I mean, it's actually. For a little while there, I had a couple frustrating years where I really wasn't growing. It was really tough. I always like to tell people I've hired and fired 20 salespeople since I got started in 2005. And that's a testament to not finding the right people, my inexperience in running a company, my inexperience in managing a sales team. When I started, I had some business background. And lots of computer programming background, but I didn't know how to hire and retain people, how to motivate them, how to listen to their goals and align their work with those goals. Training, yeah.
Schedule.
It's just there was a lot to learn, and there were some pretty slow times for a little while. But everything kind of hit a turning point. When I hired Haley, one of my current account executives, she almost doubled the company by herself her first year, which was 2010. And I've got another guy, Mike, who started about 8 months ago, that's starting to wrap up his first couple of sales. And basically, they're building up such a big sales pipeline now that I can say with confidence that we're going to be doubling again, because I know how many demos it takes to get a sale. I know how many new demos they're scheduling. And so we've got metrics now to really show that the company is going to grow.
And the reason I ask you that is I'm very interested in your take on the world and your place in the world. I mean, a lot of this sounds like when I see the movie The Social Network, for example.
Mm-hmm.
There's incredible things happening in the world, and there are people that are actually changing the course of history on some level, different levels, and you're a part of that. And so I want to ask the question, what gets you up in the morning? What drives you? Why do you do what you do?
Obviously Facebook and the social network in 30 seconds. Am I that long-winded? No. Yeah. So Facebook obviously changed the world. Twitter, although it's kind of a weird business model, they don't make any money. I don't understand it, but they've changed the world too. So there's definitely these big startups that are changing the world. What's cool right now is without a whole lot of resources, you can become your own company and make some serious money. For example, call it a scheduler. I was able to start the company with some money that I made doing web pages, basically. So I don't have any investors. I didn't need to get a bank loan or anything like that. With computer software especially, you can just launch companies and do this stuff for no money down, basically. I mean, you pay, $1,000 to file an LLC and get your corporate documents all straightened out, buy some accounting software, but you pretty much just hit the ground running with some of these software products like College Scheduler.
Well, fascinating hearing all this, Robert. I look forward to seeing how the next decade goes for you, and I'll check in from time to time.
Sure.
And see your progress, and really am excited about your entrepreneurial accomplishments. And
thank you.
I think you're changing the world. Schedule by schedule.
That's right.
By schedule.
Student by student. Exactly. All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
And thanks for watching. This is Mike Donnelly with North Valley Community Access Programming, TV Channel 11. Have a great day.